Hello, and welcome to Advanced Manufacturing Now, the podcast for manufacturing professionals. Please remember to like and subscribe to get new episodes delivered to your feed each week. I'm your host, Steve Plumb, Editor-in-Chief for SME Media. I'm joined today by Carl Mitroff, SME's Conference Manager, who organizes speakers and panels at industry events such as our own Manufacturing Technology Series, and for the Smart Manufacturing Experience Showcase at IMTS. Now is just over a month away. Carl, thanks for joining us and welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Thank you for inviting me. I look forward to IMTS in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so for anyone not familiar with IMTS, I don't know who you are if you're in manufacturing, but it stands for the International Manufacturing Technology Show. It's put on by AMT, the Association for Manufacturing Technology, and held every other year at Chicago's McCormick Place. This year's event is scheduled for September 14th through the 19th. And I really can't overstate how big the show is. It can be overwhelming. Carl, do you remember the first time you went there?
Yeah, there's an energy that is on the show floor, and it's constant motion. It's really exciting. So that's what I remember. My very first time was just almost overwhelmed.
Yeah, you're guaranteed to see things you probably haven't seen before and meet a lot of people and a lot of companies. But we're here to talk about the Smart Manufacturing Experience. What exactly is that?
So yeah, thanks, Steve. The Smart Manufacturing Experience is a technology showcase developed by SME and AMT, and it's there to help manufacturers understand and evaluate and implement advanced technologies. It focuses on the intersection of technology, people, operational transformation. It's an open theater, so there's no investment for attendees, and it's located in the McCormick Place North Building, Level 3, and it's booth 236702. So it's in a really good location right off of the main entrance into the North Building.
Yeah, and you mentioned the intersection of technology and people, which is, of course, is what SME is all about, and definitely what the manufacturing industry and IMTS focuses on and brings these people together at the show. But what was the impetus for the type of format that you've constructed for the Smart Manufacturing Experience? And I know you've done it, tested it out at some other shows. How has it evolved?
I guess I would say most manufacturers, especially small to mid-size companies, they don't necessarily struggle with understanding the importance of digital transformation. They struggle with knowing where to start, what technologies matter, how to implement them, and how to justify the cost and the investment. I hear that so many times in so many conversations that I have with influencers and technology leaders. The showcase in itself is an educational resource, and it's designed to bridge the gap between awareness and adoption. How has it evolved, you asked? Well, I remember being like, here's how to adopt, and here's how you will implement. To now today, it is presenting a business case to transform your business operations with leveraging advanced technologies. And it's doing so at an incredibly increased speed that AI has had an influence on.
Yeah, and so many companies are at different places for their adoption journey. A lot of the big companies have already made some major investments in Industry 4.0 and those type of technologies. But the small and mid-sized companies, which are really the bread and butter of the industry and make up the bulk of the attendees, they're all over the board. Some are more at Industry 2.0 or 3.0 and just really starting to make sense of that. But being that IMTS is so big with multiple buildings, tech pavilions, exhibits, presentations, concurrent conferences, and competition for people's time, how can an event like the Showcase Experience break through and attract attendees? I mean, are you targeting certain types of groups?
Well, we're leveraging our marketing tactics the best we can, and we're working with AMT to try to get our message out. But you're right, it is a massive show with a lot of competition for time and attention. But we as a theater or as a showcase, we're open to all attendees. And like I said earlier, there's no investment to show up, and we're in a really prime location. Thanks to AMT for allowing us to have a really good spot. But if the past is a predictor of future trends, I suspect the majority of attendees this year will continue to be that small and medium-sized manufacturers looking to learn about technologies that could help in their operations, and also engage with those solution providers who are on our showcase, who could provide a pathway to help them solve challenges that they're having. We expect C-suite to executives, to engineering professionals, owners, machinists, plant floor operators, students, and others to be just part of that kind of matrix of the profile of our attendees. And again, I just go, we are in a really good spot. And because we are, we have sound and we've got visual and we have an exciting space, it just draws attention kind of organically.
Yeah, so I imagine, like anything, it's really the quality of the speakers, the topics that they're addressing. How did you go about curating this? And first of all, how many speakers do you have lined up, and what are the range of topics?
Boy, we've had over 30 speakers throughout like the 4.5 days. The topics are ranging. I'll just give you some very specifics, but I would reference the IMTS website for more detail. But we're going to be talking about using AI agents as digital workers. We've got a presentation regarding R&D tax credit strategies to help small medium manufacturers fund their operations. We even have a presentation on the challenges in industrial single pair Ethernet services. So we try to offer a variety of different topics, but we know that AI is going to have such an influence over what we say or what is presented. And we do have a wide range of emphasis on AI transformation. We also have some of the most influential companies presenting, including Hexagon, Augmenteer, Matsura Machinery USA, Murray Mentor AI, Methods Machine Tools, and many others. And again, anyone listening should visit the IMTS Smart Manufacturing Experience Showcase schedule. It's on the IMTS website where all of our speakers are currently being published.
Definitely some recognizable names out there that are participating, and I know most of, if not all of them, have exhibits at the show. Definitely be interesting to hear what they have to say. There's so many common challenges throughout the industry. I know some of the panels at other events we've addressed that. Any kind of feel for, you mentioned AI, which is a huge trend, of course. Are companies applying it in different ways and really starting to see those real world applications?
That's where you'll see, yes, there are many presentations that'll kind of show those case studies that'll prove how, you start with a problem, you come up with a solution, and then you support it with the key findings. So a lot of the content in that theater or in our showcase will do exactly that. It'll solve the challenges. It'll present a problem and it'll solve the challenges. And a lot of case studies will be referenced. So the value and the quality and the outcome is going to be pretty solid.
And one of the sessions that stood out to me, and I know you're excited about it too, is the executive perspective panel on Wednesday. That's led by our old friend Jamie Getler from BTX. And it takes a different approach and is billed as being an unscripted discussion, about the challenges of adopting new technologies, especially when it comes to small and mid-sized shops. Can you elaborate a little bit more on this and what attendees should expect to hear there?
Yeah, this should be a really cool format. It's really meant to be a live, unscripted kind of panel debate featuring machine shop owners, technology providers. For example, MXD will be participating in the panel. MSC International, Kennametal, and C&M Precision Tech will kind of fill up the lineup of presenters. And you said it's going to be moderated by Jamie. It's intended to provide like a real-time discussion on current industry challenges. And the goal is to create authentic unfiltered conversations, creating thought-provoking and meaningful discussions rather than like a scripted, pre-rehearsed talking points. It's going to be a bit of a rapid pace with plenty of time for audience interaction. And I recall Jamie mentioning me early on in our development of this that he is expecting like a really quick 60-second response before he moves on to something else. So everyone has to be a little bit prepared to talk about just about anything. So that should be really interesting. And I would definitely want to add this to my IMTS show planner feature that they have.
Yeah, so sometimes the most interesting part of these discussions are the questions themselves and the answers, because we're not fielding softball questions to the speakers. It's real people asking real questions about challenges and opportunities in the industry. And then, what is really engaging, it's there's not a formal presentation by each of the panelists and waiting till the end to get to the questions. It's more interactive, right?
It is, and that's the whole intent, is to make it quick paced and to get audience engaged. That's just a great way for the value from those thought leaders on our stage to be presented to the audience, and to have access from an audience perspective to be able to ask those questions and get a direct response.
Yeah, so you launched this last year at some of the manufacturing technology series events. Any lessons learned that will be incorporated at IMTS? Any new wrinkles?
I mean, panels, they're meant to like stir up a lot of questions, right? And to get people thinking. We've learned that engaging the audience early on provides kind of like a framework on where the conversation can go and where the panelist and the moderator can take the conversation. You want to learn as much as you can about who that audience is in front of you so you can tailor that conversation towards them. It's not necessarily about those on the panel talking to themselves. It's about how are we going to provide value to the audience. So that audience interaction is critical and really shapes where the conversation can go. It's kind of providing real-time solutions. So that's how we've kind of evolved. And as we think about in our planning and our strategy, we think about how we get that audience engaged early so we're providing the value to them. That's the whole critical point.
Yeah, you kind of answered this, but on a bigger picture standpoint, are in-person events still relevant? And I'm assuming they are, but in your experience, having attended, several IMTSs and many more SME events over the years, what's their expectations for attending a show, and how have they changed?
Oh, yeah, good question. I mean, it's IMTS in itself and all manufacturing exhibits and trade shows have really transitioned from like the traditional machine tool exhibits into more of a comprehensive and massive manufacturing transformation platform that is IMTS. It's one of the largest industrial trade shows in the world. In-person events and in-person interaction is critical for manufacturers. It's really the springboard to learn from peers who have already implemented or have adopted these technologies. So there are stories to tell on their successes. It's also a platform to connect with thought leaders who often are more influential and have the knowledge and experience to really help attendees in their journey. And to have those one-on-one conversations is like really, really super critical and helpful. Our surveys and research that we conduct show that in-person events are really where manufacturing professionals learn about new products, trends, and they share ideas. It's a human-to-human connection that is unmatched and you can't get anywhere else. So that is, the value of our in-person events. And the showcase is just an experience with an opportunity to learn about those industry challenges that are relevant in today's marketplace.
And even though the size is massive, I think of 1.2 million square feet of exhibit space and more than 1,700 exhibitors. And last time in 2024, at least, I think there was 89,000 registrants from over 100 countries. But even though it's so big, you run into a lot of people that you've met over the years. You see some familiar faces and meet a lot of other new people that you'll see at future events.
Right. And the industry's changing. We're starting to see a little bit of a younger profile, that have been adopting advanced technologies since they started in manufacturing. So it's great to see how that youth is starting to influence today's manufacturing.
Yeah, speaking of younger faces, I think we have a youngish face at one of the presentations. Jake Hall, known as the manufacturing millennial, uh, teaming up with another familiar face. So, what are they going to be talking about?
Will Healy from Paradigm Robotics and Jay Call, the manufacturing millennial, are two very well-known faces at IMTS, and we're excited to have them on the same stage. They're going to be talking about how global manufacturing is shifting so rapidly and the gap between the regions are widening. And Asia accounts for a significant share of industrial robotics, and in North America and European markets face increasing pressure to try to keep pace. And they're going to try to talk about how the US market is going to try to close that gap a little bit so we're a little more competitive. So that should be a really good talk, and something, again, that I think is worthy of adding to my show planner.
Definitely a lot to look forward to. So you mentioned about 30 speakers over the course of 4.5 days. Are all the slots filled up, or how can the other speakers join in?
Yeah, so we're just at about 80 to 85 to 90% capacity. So we do have some spots available if anybody is interested. I would say simply reach out to me at my email, which is cmitroff@sme.org. And I'll be happy to respond to that email and set up a call to discuss any speaking opportunities in more detail.
Yeah, don't wait. Do that soon, because if you look at the IMTS website, we are 46 days, 16 hours, and 26 minutes away from the start of the show.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome.
Carl, thanks a lot. As you mentioned, the full schedule for the showcase experience is available on imts.com as well as on advancedmanufacturing.org. And to learn more about the latest manufacturing trends and hear more of our podcasts, visit advancedmanufacturing.org and be sure to like and subscribe to our feed.
Great. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for inviting me, and I look forward to meeting everyone at IMTS.